We have two issues here. I think one is the risk-taking ability. Are we doing enough about helping our children learn the importance of taking risks? And the second is that there is this huge, what you also talked about, the sort of information. And are we teaching our children how to filter that information and actually come to grips with what is essential and what is non-essential? Is that fair enough? And the soft skills that need to be taught. Yeah. So maybe what we can do is, ask anybody, would you like to respond to this?
Yeah, I'm happy to give my 10 cents worth on the subject. I think risk-taking, you have to sort of go one step prior to that. In order to take risk, you need to have self-confidence and self-esteem, self-confidence, and therefore you really need a positive approach with the kids, because again, traditional teaching has been more glass half empty. Let's point out where the shortcomings are, and I know we believe what's really essential is building on the strengths of the child, and like Goldie said, build on the passions, and that's going to lead to self-confidence, self-esteem, and that will lead to risk-taking and feeling, yes, you can do. I mean, once you've mastered one area of strength and competence, then you're much more willing to take a risk in something else and to become a sort of can-do person. So that's, this is all very much more art than science, but in our philosophy, it's extremely important. And and then I think on the research side, that your second question, I would just give the short answer to that is, I think it's really comes back to that personal interaction with the teachers and really teaching the children judgment, which is, overall, if you want to generalize, probably the most important skill to learn, the skill of having good judgment, learning right from wrong, learning to make good decisions. So.
Talk about the risk factor. What she said, absolutely fine, but I think, and you'll agree yourself as you're doing so much of research for your daughters, it is the family support which matters a lot. When a child has to be a little more fearless and take the decision and be confident, as she said prior to that, I think the family support plays a very important role. Teachers, yes, because they are your guides, they take your head, but it is the family that has to make the child more confident and permit him to take risks, healthy risks of this kind, and support him.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, I think sometimes risk-taking, I know exactly what you mean, but in some other contexts, we picture somebody standing on the edge of a cliff and then just leaping off. And the truth is, that isn't what we mean. We actually mean a buildup of confidence, a buildup of skills, an honest appraisal of one's own abilities, and a sense of readiness, and being poised then to dive into whatever it is that's next, knowing where you're going to land or having some idea. And I think, let me just tell you my first encounter with the school I'm working at now, which was when I happened to attend a workshop of a group of teachers. These are just ordinary Indian teachers, some of them with teaching background, some of them without. And a man had come from America to teach them, to lead them in a project-based approach to education. And the project was based on bicycles. So here are these Indian women, most of them, down on their hands and knees. What they were supposed to do was learn how to disassemble and reassemble a bicycle, draw each of the parts, create a bicycle manual, and then decide how to go and approach the local municipality to make bike paths in Gurgaon for people who ride bicycles, which for the most part are not people that can afford cars, right? And so the point is, these teachers actually were going through the kind of project themselves that they would then lead their students through. So so they were learning how to assess it along the way. They were learning how to build in the content from the disciplines, mathematical principles, science principles, and this is for class 6, so these are for 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And what I want to say through this is that, first of all, the teachers had to be willing to risk coming to a school like this, which is going to do these kind of crazy things for students, the parents had to risk enrolling their students into schools like this, and then the students have to learn from it. And what comes out of it on the other end is an amazing kind of integrated study. And I want to say that there are schools doing this. Like, we're not the only ones. There are lots of schools doing this sort of thing here in India. And it brings together all of the sort of creativity and open-endedness that we want. So whatever we can do as a community to push for more of that. And of course, it gets limited when you get into the high school because you've got that stupid syllabus you have to follow. So can we keep pushing it up? Can we keep, going through high school? And it is going to happen.
First of all, thank you very much for this very beautiful question and very relevant also, very important for our students. Because without this, there is no gain. And we should give the education where the child must have, as Madam said, confidence, self-confidence, but not overconfidence. Confidence is the first sign of success. So there should be less rote learning or theoretical teaching, but there should be more practical, like games and sports, like adventure, mountaineering, other things, where he can do himself or herself. Then he will get the confidence. And there should be some person who can advise or guide, and who can be one person who can support when he is doing wrong. You have read the letter written by Abraham Lincoln. He has mentioned the same thing which you are saying. It is our collective responsibility, not school responsibility, but parents, family members, to give the confidence so that he can feel, yes, I can do it. So that is the real education. I appreciate. It is a great gain that you are there again in our country. Thank you very much, and we will try to accommodate you if you will be in a position to come.